All right, that's us. Hey, what's going on? Hey, we coming with that energy today. But before I get in there, let's go ahead and discuss what we're gonna break down. We're gonna break down Andrew Berry latest interview with 23.9 Anthony Lima. And you know I chopped that up. You know that I have did my research on that along with Darren Reuter. Also, the Deshaun Watson era is hitting a crucial junction. So we're going to analyze this from a Shedeur Sanders and business perspective in terms of in terms of what is going on with in terms of what's going to go on with the Cleveland Browns. Listen, once again, I'm going to continue to punch this and put this in the atmosphere. Is this business versus talent? If you're going to go from a business standpoint, let us know. If you're going to go from a talent standpoint, let us know. According to some people, which I guess I can see this. I guess I can see this. They're saying that Deshaun Watson is both, a little bit of both, because he got talent and this is a business standpoint. But also, podcasters like myself, I can say the same thing about Shedeur Sanders. He brings the business aspect of being the franchise quarterback and Shedeur and the talent part of it. Now, why am I harping on that? Andrew Berry said two things that concern me. Yep. Two things that concern me as a Shedeur Sanders fan and a new Cleveland Browns era fan. Yes. And then also, we're going to end this particular live because I'm coming back this afternoon or tonight regarding some of the talking. How can I say this? I don't want to say talking points, but some of the information I'm hearing come out of the Karmelo Anthony case. This, I'm going to say, guess what? Hey, I didn't even do a live on this, but less than 24 hours after the verdict was ruled, an official appeal has already been issued. And this is why I'm going to say, he's already been placed in incarceration. Actually, he got moved to a safer prison, so that was a good thing. But we're going to talk about all this. So that is, my lineup is going to consist of what Andrew Berry just recently said in the 92.3 interview with Anthony Lima and Darryl Rudick. I just saw that at about 18 hours ago. So I definitely need to discuss some of that. Some I liked, some I didn't, and some was concerning to me as a Shedeur Sanders fan when it was asked about Deshaun Watson future in Cleveland. All right, so here we go. So we're going to talk about this from a business analysis and also regarding the Karmelo Anthony. Yeah. Just like we dig into that Brian Flores investigation, I'm definitely going to be digging into this investigation also because he was a star athlete. I'm going to say with my chest before I even start officially the show, him being committed on that bogus charge was an overreach. He was overcharged, and at pleading self-defense, that young man should be home. This has never even should have went to trial, and I'm going to say that with my chest. It never should have even went to trial. It was in self-defense, and what he was charged on and found guilty on in the first case, because it will be a second case, was an injustice. And the United States Supreme Court, I'm going to say the Supreme Court, as of now, should be looking into this case and filing some type of motion for Texas and the governor to give some answers on this right here. Because what I found out, and which is true, this case never should have been tried in Collins County, if that's the right name of the county, okay? But hey, I'm back and we finna roll. So let's go ahead and start with this right here. Now, you know how I start over here. I'm definitely not going to put anything with 92.3. I'm definitely not going to show none of my videos because if you meet behind me with members only lives, you already know my position on showing anybody's content. Over here, through video, the video aspect of it. So I'm definitely going to play audio clips only because I can see 92.3 coming down in the future and saying anybody podcaster that supports Shedeur Sanders use my content YouTube, I want them to pull it down, and I refuse to pull down my videos. So wink to all of the podcasters that be using their content without their authorization. Just know down in the future it may come down that 92.3 may feel like you have misused their content and how can I say it? Misused their content and was not authorized. Just they do have the rights to pull down their content. So warning. That's why I always play audio over here, and it's for educational purposes only. Over here, unless it's a football game, I don't even want to say it's for entertainment purposes only, because my podcast is not for entertainment purposes only. We're educational over here, and we're looking at everything from entertainment, unless it's a football game. But besides that, we're talking about financials, investigations. We're talking about business analysis. We're talking about a little bit of everything over here. But let me go ahead and start. Now, I am going to play that clip regarding Andrew Berry and what he said about Deshaun Watson. I'm playing that last, because if I play that now, the investors would not be able to focus on the other things that he said. So I'm going to start this right here, and I'm going to let you listen to what he said about Shedeur Sanders. So let me bring this thing over here clear. Let me bring this over here closer. Now, what he said about Shedeur Sanders, I did love that as a Shedeur Sanders fan. But what he said about Deshaun Watson put me at pause. Here we go.
This player was to use your term, like an A or a B or a C or something along those lines, because you take much more of a developmental mindset when you're in the spring relative to them when you get into the fall.
Here we go.
All right, well, one of the quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders, has gone from a fifth rounder to fourth string to now a legitimate chance to compete for a starting job. So what can you say about his trajectory and his rise through the program?
I think he's had an excellent spring, Anthony. I mean, the past 8 to 10 weeks, and really probably beyond that, really the past 6 months with, as a rookie player, and particularly a quarterback, you learn a lot your first year, and especially if you don't start a full season, start 6, 7, or I guess you started 7 games, and you kind of go through the year. It's adjustment going to the NFL, and then you get a chance to catch your breath and say, okay, well, here are the things that I need to work on, here are the things I need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he did a phenomenal job this offseason. That really started in January and February, and then certainly as we got into having, real practices in May, his growth has been tremendous. So we're all very excited to see, Shedeur's, fall camp, preseason, things of that nature when we get into added situations, live situations, less scripted, but his growth has truly been phenomenal.
Hey, Andrew Berry, I like what you said about Shedeur Sanders. I like the adjectives that he used regarding Shedeur Sanders. Phenomenal, tremendous growth. We already knew that. But I like when the GM is using that in terms of Shedeur Sanders. Tremendously. Woo! Trajectory. Phenomenal growth. That is signs of everything that we knew what Shedeur Sanders was capable of. And guess what? He's saying that to 92.3, who on their platform, who has been such an anti-Shedeur Sanders conglomerate over there. I think the only people I can stomach over there is Earl the Pearl. But the other ones, Ken Carmen, Anthony Lima. So if you don't know this interview here, he did the interview with, and of course it was all radio style. He did the interview with 92.3, Anthony Lima and Darryl Reuter. Okay. Okay. And a matter of fact, the only reason I actually listened to this interview because it said Andrew Berry exclusive interview, and it was Darryl Ryder on the thumbnail. But I like what he said about Shedeur Sanders. So let's keep this moving. Now, the one regarding Deshaun Watson, I am going to hold that one. I have to. I have to, Masters. Y'all would tear up the chats. But I have to say this. When I was trying to make my point in the last 2 to 3 lives in regarding the internal conversations that Deshaun Watson had stated, and I went into my commentary about that and my analysis about that, especially from a business analysis. So let me go and put the disclaimer out. Listen, I know that God does all things. I wouldn't be here without God. However, this is man, and this is man talking about their team that has free will to do whatever they want to do with their team. And when Deshaun Watson came out with his full chest and said he didn't have without one doubt, not one inclination that he wasn't going to be another starter, and he talked about playing 17 plus games. Now, let me tell you what I didn't hear on this interview before I go to the next pause. Because I only got about 4 or 5 more parts. I'm going to come back to the Deshaun Watson part. Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry. Andrew Berry did not say, or did not even, I don't even know if it was questioned or not, but he did not say what Deshaun Watson said in the last presser that we saw Deshaun Watson on. He did not say that he was incorrect. He did not say Deshaun Watson, he was speaking out of, how could I say it, his goals or aspirations. He didn't even touch on that. Hold on. Let me put this phone on vibrate. But let's go to the next section. And here we go. I'm going to save this one. Here we go.
These young receivers, 2 of them you drafted, another one you signed during training camp last year. Isaiah Bond, Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion. Do you have to temper your enthusiasm this time of year when it comes to watching these guys catching footballs and they're sprinting down the field the way they are?
You do a little bit, Darryl, because you're right. All 3 of them have had excellent springs. The way Denzel and Casey have hit the ground running has been impressive. And then IB, just with him getting a full offseason under his belt, it's been great. It's been great to see. We thought highly of all 3 of those players coming out. They're very talented and hardworking individuals. You can tell more from the skill positions in the spring, right? Because there's a little less context that changes once you get on pads. There is some difference. Like, we're not playing press coverage. They're not having those bang plays where they're on the ground. So there will be some things that we still need to see, and we're mindful of that. But it's been a really nice start for those 3 guys.
Andrew Berry, Browns GM, joining us right now. We know about the orange dot that the organization uses to talk about prioritizing elite character, but when we have a college player that committed the mortal sin and fessed up.
Hold on. So that was that went into a whole nother subtopic. So hey, I like what he said about those wide receivers. I love, we already watching Casey Concepcion. We already watching Boston. That they said Boston is catching any and everything that's coming out the air. I like that. So Boston. Now, do I believe that Boston got robbed out of a first-round draft pick? Yes. I'm not going to say that the Cleveland Browns robbed him because, hey, they only had 2 picks anyway in the first round. Number 6 that they traded to number 9, and then also number 24. So I understand that. I'm not saying that the Cleveland Browns robbed him, but the other teams definitely robbed him because Denzel Boston is definitely a dog. And I need to go back to my combine video and see exactly where I rated him, but I know that Denzel Boston was on my radar. A lot of you found me after the NFL draft, or maybe before that, but hey, I did some excellent commentary on the combine, and Casey Concepcion name I brought up because of Slim 081, and also I did get my commentary on Casey Concepcion, and then Denzel Boston was definitely on my radar. So Denzel Boston definitely got robbed out of a first team pick, and y'all know in terms of salary that meant a lot. However, I'm glad that the Cleveland Browns did get him. Now Casey Concepcion, you already know that, and Isaiah Bond, at the end of the season last year, I said, hey, you're going to keep Isaiah Bond. You're going to keep Isaiah Bond. And I'm so glad that Andrew Berry spoke highly on him. Now, going into the next clip of this audio clip that I'm playing, this is one of the things that concern me regarding what he said about Deshaun Watson, okay? Anthony Lima is going to ask Andrew Berry about his opinion on the Sorsby gambling injunction, right? Now, Andrew Berry did give us a disclaimer. He said he don't know all of the details about it, but I expected more from Andrew Berry in terms of, to be honest with you, I'm not going to dress it up nicely. I thought that Andrew Berry was like, it cannot belong. It shouldn't belong in college. It definitely don't belong in the NFL. I really thought Andrew Berry was going to be more aggressive in what he said about sports gambling, especially as a player on the field. Does he not know that Brandon Sorsby, he started gambling on the games he was in his freshman year? But let me go ahead and play what Andrew Berry had stated regarding Sorsby, the Sorsby case.
Gambling, how does that factor in to prioritizing something like that? You know, whether or not...
Oh, hold on. Here it is.
Joining us right now, we know about the orange dot that the organization uses to talk about prioritizing elite character. But when we have a college player that committed the mortal sin and
elite character, now they're talking about characteristics of a player, right?
Fessed up to it, plus there's more allegations about gambling. How does that factor in to prioritizing something like that? You know, whether or not he was going to be available in a supplemental draft or next year in the draft when it comes to it?
I think there are two things. I think there are two questions I asked because we're all human, and I'd imagine everybody that's on this call and listening to this show, I'm sure everyone has made mistakes. I think I really asked two questions. I asked, number one, is this a bad person or did they make a bad decision? And then the second piece is okay, what are they doing after the fact, whether it's to correct the behavior? Is this is this a pattern of decision making?
Yes.
So
yes.
Have they done something to stop the pattern, or is this an isolated incident? Because the reality of it is we're all going to screw up, and some mistakes are greater in magnitude than others. But I think the most important thing in Brendan's case is what he does from here.
Negative.
It's a great first step to get the help that he needs. But then it's okay, what is around him? What is he doing to make sure that he can maintain healthy habits moving forward? And so it seems like it's a very good start there. Obviously, I don't know all the details.
You should have started with that Andrew Berry.
But I don't. I think probably within society, so to speak, I think we could all stand to use a little bit more grace.
I agree with you. Everybody deserves a little mercy and grace. But Andrew Berry, you should have started off with, you didn't know all of the details surrounding this case. Because if you notice this, and hey, I'll play it for you again, he did not even call out none of the specifics of the situation regarding this gambling quarterback. Now, when I first brought him up a few weeks ago, and I'm starting to get in my flow right now, so make sure everybody, you're going to get your notes, your drink, and your vest, because I woke up right now. This coffee is hitting on all levels, so I'm really trying to control myself, and knowing that I'm going to go into this Karmelo Anthony piece. Oh, I need to trust me. I need my spirit to be praying because I may get demonetized today. So let me go ahead and focus on what Andrew Berry said and what he didn't say. What Andrew Berry supposed to have said at the beginning of this, hey, I don't know all of the details, but if just speaking on the human aspect of Sorsby, this is the boom. But as an NFL GM, That's what you're supposed to have said. So Andrew Berry, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give you mercy and grace, Andrew Berry. You should have. That's exactly what you should have said. From a human aspect, this right here. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes. Everybody needs mercy and grace because we all messed up. And you should have left it like that. But speaking from an NFL GM point of view, you should have said, no. This cannot be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed. You should have said that the NCAA should go ahead and do everything possible, because if this young man is drafted into the NFL, he is going to mess up the remaining of the little bit. How can I say it? Some people already believe that the NFL is scripted anyway. Let's just call a spade, a big joker, a diamond, a heart, and a club. Let's just call it what it is. So many people believe that the NFL is already scripted. So Andrew Berry should have said, no, this would go against everything that we're trying to stand for in terms of an organization and integrity in the outcome of the games. That's what you should have said, Andrew. But no, he has confessed to gambling from his freshman year. He came in gambling on his freshman year. What already made, now see some of these numbers, it may be skewed because the coffee is kicking up and it's just been a lot of things going on in the background. But I know he stated over $90,000 was betted that he confessed of, so it could have been more. So if this is in his second year, a junior year, or who knows, his senior year, that young man has been betting on every game he's been in, every game. So Andrew Berry, you should have shot that down from a leadership standpoint and said, we cannot have this in the NFL. And he should be like, hey, I'm going to get back with you. Or, hey, this is what he should have said. As a GM, this is how we look at players that have a history of this behavior, because even Andrew Berry said he don't even know if it is a consistent behavior. Andrew Berry, yes, it is. He's been doing this for years. And whoever his lawyer was, he convinced the judges on the case that the rehab that he has done or will continue to do should be sufficient for the courts and the legal system, which is why they said, okay, I agree with you, and his punishment is just going to be 2 games, and he can play for the rest of the year. Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry. So I think he messed up on that one right there, because if somebody draft him, especially I'm not even going to say the Cleveland Browns, but if another team draft him, they're going to be scrutinized so heavily over every single play. Whoever the head coach is, they would have to answer questions regarding every single play. Every single play. So, hey, Andrew Berry, on that particular question and your response, I'm definitely going to give you an F. You should have shot that down, because if you didn't, that it kind of lets the public and whoever heard this part of the interview, if they got that far, I would question, and like they would question, like I'm questioning, are you okay with sports gambling from a player's perspective? All right. And let me keep going. Let me go to the comments. Let me go to the comments. What's up, lady PC67? So this is just a small break. Let me go and get your coffee, go and get your notes, go and get your vest. Hey, let me go through this right here. What's up, TDP 1428? What's up, Justine? What's up, Slim 081? I already called your name this morning. What's up, CJ? I see you talking today. What's up, Mel? Hey, yes. Good morning. What's up, SDP 1208? What's going on, Selma? Woo! You know we in the room. What's up, Destin? Coming to you. What's up, Lady E? Come on with it. Hey, I hope you're feeling better. What's going on, Sherrod? Good morning, everybody. What's up? Ron tells that. Come on with it. And listen, while y'all are in the chat, Please let me know if I am reading too much into or being too hard on Andrew Berry. You can just let me know if I'm being too hard on Andrew Berry. Let's see here. What's up, Everlove? What's up, Everlove? Running errands, and you got me tuned in. Thank you so much for that. Greetings, my sisters in chats. Running errands. That's what I'm saying. Multitask on this Saturday morning. What Justine said. All right, everybody pause. If that's the case, amen. You know what? I was about to bring that up too. Y'all remember when I went over the conditions regarding how the NFL, come on with it, Justine, would look at Shedeur Sanders if he was to return to the NFL based off this right here. And man, I haven't heard no NFL GM besides Todd Monken. Now, Todd Monken, he did give a very strong standpoint on the golf court last week when Myles Garrett got traded and it was brought up to him about Sorsby. He gave a very strong perspective. Oh, no, it's not allowed. Oh, no, we're not going to tolerate that. Andrew Berry, that's what you should have did. You should have said, hey, from a, I don't know all the details, but this is from a human standpoint, right there, okay? But Andrew. But okay, I'm gonna give you grace and mercy. But you're right. If that is the case, I hope that grace and mercy applies to Shedeur Sanders too, especially when teams are looking and still maybe hopefully still evaluating bringing him in. So him being associated with Prize Prize Pick. Shedeur Sanders should be in the NFL, and his association with Prize Pick, even with betting on the games. Because remember, I said according to my research, Shedeur Sanders would be deemed a very extreme high risk for the NFL. No, not after Sorsby, not after Sorsby. No. Shedeur don't got nothing on Sorsby, nothing. Okay. What's up, Destin? It's a known fact that right. It is a known fact that an addict of any kind is not okay that fast. After rehab? Really? Y'all, we don't heard about all these Money Mayweather. He was on each hand $5 to $6 to $8 million. Even Shannon Sharp, he got vulnerable one time talking about sports gambling. Excuse me, and how he had to pull himself back because he saw that he was going overboard. And we already heard about the Michael Jordan. We already heard of, it is so many players that this addiction is severe. And you're in the game. At least Shannon Sharp, that was after he retired. Floyd Money Mayweather, that was not on, he would be in casinos dealing that type of money regarding betting, right, and gambling. But a player, and y'all, he confessed and said yes with his chest. I bet it. Over $90,000 over so many hands, over so many of this. Yes, I did it. And they said, okay, pat on the hand, 2 games, you got to sit on the bench and go play. Oh my gosh. What's up? How you doing? Oh, you seem like a new investor. Rev, BJ Nelson, come on with it. Blessings all the aunties and uncles. We rolling over here. What you say? No, you're not hard on AB. Come on with it, Lady E. Come on, Lady E. What's up, Pick Up Bill with you too? 22. He is still been allowed to play, isn't he? Yes. I say the same thing with right. Everything that I gave commentary on, because when I talked about Shedeur Sanders, that was just, hey, y'all, maybe I found the smoking gun. That was the disclaimer that I said. Maybe I found the smoking gun. And hey, the only reason I brought up Shedeur Sanders and the prospect is because we was discussing this Sorsby case. So I was like, well, hold on. If they said this by Sorsby, well, let me see what my research is going to pull up regarding Shedeur Sanders, because hey, he's associated with Prize Pick, sports gambling, and Shedeur has confessed just like Sorsby. Hey, yeah, he bets on the game, but totally different situation. Shedeur Sanders is not an active football player in any league. Sorsby is. Sorsby is. So, hey, based off that, Shedeur Sanders still has a chance. And y'all, why hasn't the NFL, y'all want to say something next year if the NFL allowed that young man to get drafted? Oh, hell yeah. Shedeur Sanders definitely need to be on somebody's team. Oh, no. Is that the reason why Shedeur lost? Now, that part, I don't know about that lady E. I don't know nothing about no money that he lost. Well, what's up, Peter Supernatural? I ain't going to say nothing on that. But let's keep going ahead. Regarding this right here, the Andrew Berry interview. I just had to give my talking points regarding that sports gambling, and I didn't like how Andrew Berry, you should have said a little bit more than that, just like Todd Monken hit everybody. It was no doubt in where Todd Monken stood on sports gambling, especially from an active player. What you said, Peter? What's up? Yes. Happy Saturday. What's going on, Coach Dre? You just came in the room at the right time. Good morning, family. Blessings and love. Hey, and love, Miss Queen, Miss Tony, and respect, Coach Dre. Yes. Let's go to the next one.
Joining us right now. We know about the orange.
No, I just played that one. So that was about Sorsby. Here we go.
Within society, so to speak, I think we could all stand to use a little bit more grace.
Andrew, how important is it, or how much consideration do you give it to your quarterback, I should say, about being the face of the franchise?
Listen to this, y'all.
Is that to you in
Listen to this
process? I know it can't obviously affect the on-the-field evaluation, but is that something that enters into your mind when you're looking at that position and maybe a player that has a little bit of a checkered past in some of those red flags?
Yeah, I think it really makes it easier because quarterback is naturally a leadership position. But I also think that probably the more important things, Darryl, are the internal leadership. So how does this player prepare? How do they relate to their teammates? How do they relate? Are they coachable to the coaching staff? Are they an anchor in those tough moments in the game? Because that's the stuff that actually makes the biggest impact. And those are the people, that's the biggest constituency that individual has to lead and serve. So that's really more the priority than, what I would say is like maybe the more like marketability piece of things. But you like to have everything. You like to have everything ideally, but very few players fit that bill.
Now listen. Everything that Andrew Berry said, and y'all trust me, StreamYard is frozen right now, so I can't even turn down the music if I wanted to. So hopefully you're able to hear that piece of what Andrew Berry said. I can't scroll up, I can't scroll down. The music volume, I can't even do nothing. But we're gonna keep pushing forward. Now, what Andrew Berry said was very accurate regarding the quarterback. So the question was, what are some of the things that you look in terms of quarterback? It's being the face of the franchise, and they're referencing Deshaun Watson because of what happened maybe 2 or 3 years ago regarding that case, right? We already discussed that, and I'm definitely not going to tear him down regarding that. So this is where it was going to regarding the face of the franchise. And Andrew Berry, he outlined everything that you should say, looking into potentially, how can I say it? I don't want to lose my words. Identifying your franchise quarterback. Now, Andrew Berry said at the end of this, he said, but it's hard to find someone that has all of that. I said, hold on, Andrew. How can you forget that Shedeur Sanders has everything that you just said is hard to find? Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna play that clip again. But everything that Andrew Berry just outlined, he said, which is ratifying. Did he forget that he had Shedeur Sanders on your team? Let's play that again. Because he basically saying that is rare to find, but you already have him on your team. Andrew Berry, man, you could have knocked this interview out at the last statement that you could have added to that part of your interview. And guess what? It is ratified. And guess what? But we got Shedeur Sanders, who is that model quarterback that you're looking for to be the face of the team or any team. Andrew Berry, how you slipped up second time. Let me replay this.
Within society, so to speak, I think we could all stand to use a little bit more grace.
Andrew, how important is it, or how much consideration do you give it to your quarterback, I should say, about being the face of the franchise? How important is that to you in your process? I know it can't obviously affect the on-the-field evaluation, but is that something that enters into your mind when you're looking at that position and maybe a player that has a little bit of a checkered past in some of those red flags?
Yeah, I think it certainly makes it easier because quarterback is naturally a leadership position. But I also think that probably the more important things, Darryl, are the internal leadership. So how does this player prepare? How do they relate to their teammates? How do they relate? Are they coachable to the coaching staff? Are they an anchor in those tough moments in the game? Because that's the stuff that actually makes the biggest impact. And those are the people, that's the biggest constituency that individual has to lead and serve. So that's really more the priority than, what I would say is like maybe the more like marketability piece of things. But you like to have everything. You like to have everything ideally, but very few players fit that bill.
Yes.
Shedeur Sanders is that whole entire bill. He has great leadership qualities. He has no red flags. He has no off the field issue. He's a phenomenal young man. Elite talent. Andrew, you just said that Shedeur Sanders has tremendous growth and phenomenal. You just put those characteristics on him. He has no issues. He's very marketable. He's likable. He's charismatic. He's influential. And as of now, doesn't have a checkered background. I don't think he ever will because he has the right people around him. And Shedeur Sanders, whatever vetting process that you currently have in place, continue with that. Don't change that baseline. Don't change that blueprint. But Andrew Berry, you got one. You should have just said, hey, we got one in Shedeur Sanders. Now let me keep moving. Mm-hmm. Is this one?
Yesterday, Andrew, we had on Joel Bitonio. I was so thankful of the send-off that he received from the organization.
I don't want to play that one.
And also so thankful for his years in Cleveland, but he also did admit.
I don't even play nothing about Joe Patino, so basically I just give a recap. So basically, Joe Patino, I guess he was on 92.3 yesterday, and he stated he gave one of the reasons why he went ahead and retired, because you already know my theory. But he said he went on ahead and retired because he feels like that the Cleveland Browns this year would not be a contender at any level. Yes, Joe Patino said he the reason why he retired after how many months? Going into the 6th month after week 18, he said the reason why he left the Cleveland Browns is because he feels like the Cleveland Browns is not a contender. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play that because I wanted to hear what Andrew Berry said. And see, Andrew Berry, this is how you should address the Sorsby questioning and what you should have said about Shedeur Sanders. But hey, Andrew Berry is not perfect. He's not perfect. Let's go ahead.
Yesterday, Andrew, we had on Joel Bitonio. I was so thankful of the send-off that he received from the organization this week. And also so thankful for his years in Cleveland. But he also did admit if the team was, in a real contention window, that he probably would have come back. How does it make you feel when you hear somebody as celebrated and important to the fabric of who the Browns are say something like that?
Well, one, I didn't hear him say it. But two, I gotta just say this: we're very thankful for Joel's time in Cleveland, and he obviously played real well, but he was also a great ambassador for the organization. As we move forward.
If you don't know, when he was talking about a great ambassador for the organization, it came out in December or November this year, because I think I did a video on that. The reason why he said that Joe Pitino was an ambassador for the Cleveland Browns, because Joe Pitino was, the chairman for the Cleveland Browns, NFAPA representative. He was their NFAPA chairman. Leader of sorts.
Really excited about our team. We think we have a really, really good young core that we're excited to see them grow and develop. I would not put a ceiling on a team in a given year. I always make the point, if we rewound a year ago, I don't think very many people were saying New England would be in the Super Bowl, or Jacksonville would win 13 games, or Chicago would win the division. And likewise, I don't know that very many people were saying, Kansas City and Washington and Cincinnati would be picking in the top 10.
All right.
So that's the beauty of sports, that
you just never know.
Really know how it's going to go.
You never know.
I think for us, what's exciting, particularly with young teams, you never know when guys are going to hit their stride. You have the opportunity to be surprised in the positive end of the spectrum. So we're excited about the fall and really focus on the guys that we have in hand.
Now, I like what Andrew Berry said in that type of response. So I'm going to give that an 8, because basically he told Joe Pitino, listen, I was fair. I gave you as much time as you needed in order to make your decision if you're going to retire or come back to the Cleveland Browns. But Andrew Berry, he said in so many words, Joe Pitino don't know nothing about where we're going to move forward in the future. And I really think if Joe Pitino, because I didn't see the whole entire thing, so that was just Anthony Lima's interpretation of what Joe Pitino said. So I didn't watch the whole thing. But if Joe Pitino if that's the only thing that he spoke on and said the reason why he did not come back to the Cleveland Browns because he didn't think that the Cleveland Browns was a contender, that was a slap in Andrew Berry's face, y'all. When Tony Tugs listed up, what you talking about? Because I just said, Andrew Berry, he's been answering questions regarding Joe Pitino since February, March, April, May, and June. And Andrew Berry has always spoke highly of Joe Pitino. And for Joe Pitino to say that, Joe Pitino could have said anything else. I retired, for whatever reasons, and I wish the Cleveland Browns well this year. But he basically said, I retired because I don't think that the Cleveland Browns is a contender for this year. Damn, Joe. Didn't Andrew Berry just say, I'm going to give Joe Pitino all the time in the world to make up this decision, because he's brought so much to the team for 9 to 10 years. But golly, Joe. But Andrew Berry politely said, Joe don't know what he's talking about and where this team is going to be next year. That's why he called out all these other teams. Did you think that the Patriots was going to be in the Super Bowl this year? Nope. Did you think that the Seahawks was going to win the Super Bowl this year? Nope. You don't know what's going to happen in this year. And something else that I was trying to bring home, and I hope it didn't get lost in the live, when I said that Shedeur Sanders' second year was in jeopardy, it's not because it's talent. It's not even because Deshaun Watson may even start. It's the sports gambling aspect of this. Is Vegas going to pick up the phone and call the Cleveland Browns or the opponent and say, hey, XYZ need to happen, because if not, we're going to lose so many billions of dollars. And if you don't think that's happened, go back and watch some of them flops. Go ahead and watch some of them drop balls. Go ahead and watch some of the drop balls that turn into interceptions in the end zone. When we could have got 7 points, but it came an interception on the field. I ain't calling out no names, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. So if you don't think this happening, sports gambling, legalized betting was the worst thing that the NFL got in the bed with. And yes, I brought up that the NFL, they get so many millions of dollars from all of these sports gambling and betting agencies. You're actually in the bed with the devil. And you don't think that, hey, y'all, it's so much that comes into this, y'all. Oh my gosh, how is the NFL again? All I'm saying is, I bet not see, and maybe this is what I should have said in the other live. I bet not see a drop, a drop ball, unnecessary drop ball. Every ball that hits their chest, they better hold on to it. I don't want to see no flopping on no O-line. I don't think we got that issue. I don't want to see a questionable play. I don't even want to hear the analyst say, what just happened? That ain't never happened. Well, why did that happen? I bet not hear one, because I'm gonna say sports gambling played a picketed. It's so bad that now you got overs and unders. And the only reason I know that because of Shedeur Sanders' prize pick. Overs and unders. If a quarterback, how many, they even gambling on how many yards a quarterback would have in the first quarter. Forget the outcome of the game. They got betting scenarios on who this is just hypothetical, but they can do this. Who would be the first wide receiver Shedeur Sanders is going to connect with? Shedeur Sanders. What quarter do you think Shedeur Sanders is going to come in the game? What play do you think Shedeur Sanders' first play would be on his second year? Is he going to throw the ball or is he going to hand the ball off? Y'all, sports betting is so bad that they, like I said, it could be a betting going on who's going to be announced the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Yo, it is bets going on that when is Todd Monken going to make the announcement? Is it going to be a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or Thursday? This thing is bad. So that's all I was trying to hit on regarding Shedeur's second year. Is it going to be impacted because of the betting that's going on? Instead of just letting this thing be what it is. If it's a true quarterback competition, let it be. And if it's not, just tell us what the angle is. But I'm going to keep pushing. Y'all. Boy, this coffee kicked in, and I'm rolling with it, y'all. Hold on. I got one more. Then I'm going to go into the Deshaun Watson comment. Then we go into the case.
Since coming back to Cleveland, Andrew, is really enhance the internal collaboration and that process at all levels of the organization. I am curious, though, when you're making big decisions, roster moves.
Okay, so basically, they actually regarding verse. I'm not going to play that, but they was like, hey, when you're making decisions regarding roster changes, do you consult the team? Andrew Berry said yes, he does consult the team before certain trades and actions take place. The only reason I'm bringing this up, remember I said, well, man, Shedeur said is never commenting on the verse trade with Myles Garrett. And I was like, oh, well, this lets me know, even 24 hours after the fact, 48 hours to fact, this was already being communicated behind the scenes. Even Myles Garrett said he knew this a week out, that there was a possible trade on the table. So I cropped that out to let you, basically just to let you know that Shedeur Sanders, along with the other team, they knew that verse was coming and Myles was going to get traded, which is why y'all, I didn't even hear out of the press conference, they didn't even ask Shedeur Sanders that I remember about his opinion on the Myles Garrett trade. So, hey, it was a done deal. So, hold on. And then we're going to get into this concerning thing regarding Deshaun Watson. What is this clip on?
Andrew, you've been more than generous with your time. Just one final
yeah. Hold on. Before we get to the Deshaun Watson one, there was a question at the end of the video. So if you didn't get at the end of the video, they asked Andrew Berry about the comparison between Kevin Stefanski and Todd Monken. I thought nobody would never ask Andrew Berry on the comparison between Kevin Stefanski and Todd Monken. Now, let me frame this. Yes, I want your mind to go in a certain way. Now, the way that Andrew Berry is going to respond to this, now just know he's only been knowing Todd Monken since January. We're talking 5 to 6 months. And been knowing Kevin Stefanski 6 to 7 years. Now, I'm not gonna mold your opinion on this, but I'm just trying to set the stage. Watch what Andrew Berry says regarding Kevin Stefanski and Todd Monken, and watch who he speaks more on. Come on, y'all. I'm being messy today. Yeah.
Dynamic of working with certain individuals like Darryl asked you about, but going from Kevin, who is kind of in your age bracket, to somebody like Todd Monken, does he belie his age, his generation? What is it like working with him? And obviously is kind of famous for being uncensored at all times.
You know, it's interesting because Tony, I was actually talking about this the other day. It's interesting on two fronts. One, I think if you're leading in a public facing role, right? Like you're a head coach. I often think that partly because of maybe the whatever perception or whatever your approach with the media, like oftentimes the perception of the individual can be a lot different than how they are behind closed doors. And like, I actually think there are a lot more commonalities than people realize between Todd and Kevin. Both super smart, both have incredible senses of humor, both have really good people skills. Styles certainly may be a little bit different, but like I was talking about Todd, it was after yesterday's team, like kind of last team meeting. I said, like, the cool thing about Todd is he's secure and authentically himself. Mm-hmm. He's incredibly funny. And like, he's like, this may seem weird for people just because like he just had his 60th birthday, but like he's cool. Like he's really cool. And like I think that's actually what that's really what allows him to connect with like really pretty much everybody in the building, but particularly the players. Like the players love him because of that. So like he's really fun. I feel like I've been very blessed that I've worked with two head coaches who are smart, they're really good people, and they have incredible senses of humor that make it fun to work with them because you deal with so many tough and hard ones.
All right, y'all. Did y'all hear what he said about Todd Munkett? Well, he didn't even expound on Kevin Stefanski, basically saying that, hey, they're different in their own ways or whatever the case may be. But it sounds like Andrew Berry has fallen in love with Todd Munkett, and I agree. I just wanted to show you the differences between how he compared Kevin Stefanski and Todd Munkett and how highly he spoke on Kevin. I'm going to say Todd Munkett. Now, y'all, let me go ahead and discuss and bring up this last clip before we get into the Karmelo Anthony portion of this live. This is what put me at pause, y'all. This is what put me at pause. I also brought up in that live 2 lives ago regarding Shedeur Sanders' second year in the NFL and the Deshaun Watson factor when he said that internal conversations X, Y, and Z. Well, let me let you go ahead and hear what Andrew Berry, how he addressed this question regarding Deshaun Watson after this season. Yes, after this season. And then I'm going to go back to the comments. After this season. Come on, Andrew.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson is the other guy in the competition here, Andrew. You know, if all goes well with him and he wins this competition, he plays well for the Browns this fall, do you see a world where he is the Browns quarterback into the future, and are you open to giving him a contract extension?
Yeah, I think everything's on the table. I think it would be silly to go into a season and say, hey, something absolutely can or cannot happen. And I think particularly at the quarterback position, right? Like we've seen it with guys, whether it's Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones or Geno Smith or even Baker after he left us in Carolina. And so I think you have to be open-minded and flexible. But I wouldn't rule out anything. We're looking for guys who can perform and who can lead.
Now we have a really unique situation.
Yo, did y'all hear Andrew Berry out of his own mouth that basically said that extending Deshaun Watson's contract is not off the table? If you're just coming into this room, or if you have spilled your coffee, or if you're looking at this particular face, let me replay this again. Andrew Berry said nothing is off the table, not even with Deshaun Watson having an extended contract.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson is the other guy in the competition here, Andrew. You know, if all goes well with him and he wins this competition, he plays well for the Browns this fall. Do you see a world where he is the Browns quarterback into the future, and are you open to giving him a contract extension?
Yeah, I think everything's on the table. I think it would be silly to go into a season and say, hey, something absolutely can or cannot happen. And I think particularly at the quarterback position, right? Like we've seen it with guys, whether it's Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones or Geno Smith or, even Baker after he left us in Carolina. And so I think you have to be open-minded and flexible. But I wouldn't rule out anything. We're looking for guys who can perform and who can lead.
Now, we have a really unique situation.
Well, it really ain't nothing else for me to say. Let me go to the comments and get your opinion of what Andrew Berry said. Y'all, we thought this was I'm going to say it because I know it was me. I thought this was a slam dunk, y'all. I thought Shedeur Sanders' second year was a slam dunk. To get a quarterback competition, we got to worry about now. Is Deshaun Watson going to stay on the roster after 2026? Yeah. Is Deshaun Watson going to stay on the roster? Y'all, we thought we had closed the door, and they had closed the door. Cleveland Browns had closed the door on Deshaun Watson. We thought that Shedeur Sanders would carry this team on to the next, his third year and fourth year, definitely being named as the franchise quarterback, y'all. I will say this. If they extend, now we have to say, if they extend Deshaun Watson's contract, there's definitely no room. There's definitely no room for Archie Manning. It would definitely be a Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, and Taylor Green. But that highly is concerning to me. I thought this was a done deal. Let me go to the comments. Andrew Berry. I'm not Andrew. I call you Andrew Berry. Coach Dre. Let's say right here. Peter. Rev Salute, my brother. Come on with it. The only quarterback that fits Andrew Berry's description is Shedeur. Yes. Maybe he's trying to keep some mystery without giving it away. But if you're right, but he wasn't, but he had nothing to do with the quarterback competition. He was talking about internal characteristics that is so rare regarding quarterbacks. That's Shedeur Sanders. AB has to get an NFL political response due to Haslam is the owner and knows in his heart Haslam would absolutely hire. Oh God. No, Justin, no. I'm clenching my pearls. Shedeur Sanders lost money on a betting. I don't know what Shedeur has lost money on. Some people say it's because he got kicked off the team. Now I can see this. If Shedeur Sanders did what is it called? Relocate to Miami to Tampa because he was an undrafted free agent. I can see him. He definitely lost money. And lease agreements. We don't know if he signed any potential lease agreements that, 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, or whatever the case may be. That is definitely money lost. And the money that he thought he was going to get from being on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yeah, that definitely hurt his finances. That's like relocating to a new job and working there for a month and then coming out, you got fired. Basically, that's what happened. Shedeur Sanders relocated there and got fired or released after being on the team, let's say 2 to 3, 4 months. That was bad. Barry holds a position at GM because his ability to spin the block, talking without saying mail. Shedeur said he lost money because the bets of the game. Gee, he said that? Well, I guess he did say that. I didn't catch all of that, but god dang, he betting like that. Oh Lord, Jesus. Oh, okay. Joe know that Haslam wants to tank this year. Damn, Peter Supernatural, you came in with that alley hoop. Good Lord. Haslam is utilizing blackface failure. Now mail that part. Thickaboo, sporting betting is definitely an issue for some, just like regular betting. Right, in casinos, but sports betting is a growing a phenomenon that is causing some issues. Yes, Yes, and they tearing up their TVs, y'all. Now I realize what was going on last year when they would do these reactionary videos of people just tearing up their TVs, tearing up the living rooms. I mean, just cussing people out. I mean, destroying things at their home. And I'm like, but dang, it was just a game. No, that was a sign that they had betted and lost. I mean, they was literally ripping TVs off the wall. And I'm saying, what's going on? Now I know, y'all. Now I know. Bettino served his purpose within the scheme. Right, Mel, he would have been allowed to return to the game if the game hadn't changed. Right. And it was too many pieces. Too many pieces had came in, and Kevin Stefanski was gone. Oh, no, he couldn't. He had to go. He had to go. And I think, y'all, Joe Pitino, let's just say, if he was not part of any type of or had any type of investigations regarding his own betting habits, hint, he could have said after listening to Todd Monken for 5 months, he was like, nah, this ain't the coach with me. He ain't playing that. And when Todd Monken came out and said he was holding all players accountable, Joe Pitino ain't never had that. And I'm not lying on it, because none of the team, well, the current existing players that was there last year and the years before, they said they ain't never had to been held accountable. And Joe Pitino did not want to be held accountable for what he did on that field. That's what it was. Zero tolerance policy. Todd Monken's policy. Okay. The Angles have right. What's up, Mita Lee? What's up, Mita Lee? I totally agree. Pick a boo. You too. Be messy. I'm with you, man. When it comes to the Browns, I don't trust anything. Hey, CJ, I'm so glad you back in the comments. Listen, I didn't either. I'm stuttering right now. I don't know. Watson can be cut by 2027. The Dolphins cut 2. You're right. You're right. Andrew Barry said, ain't nothing off the table, though. God dang. I thought he was going to be like, well, Deshaun Watson contract is traded. This is what he should have said. These are talks that we will have with Deshaun after the season is over. And, if nothing comes out of our talks, we wish him well with other teams. That's what I was expecting. Andrew Barry said, nothing is off the table. Haslam and Watson has a personal relationship. Yep. Another here for Shedeur Sanders decline. Internal conversations. So, y'all, if y'all just came for the Cleveland Browns segment of this live, that is it. I'll be back tonight. Now I'm going to move into the Karmelo Anthony piece of this live. Then I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go in the next 15 to 20 minutes because I'm coming back tonight. Woo! All right. So the last time we was together, and really that live was hard for me. Getting my talking points out is because it was I was trying to cover up my feelings regarding the guilty verdict on that particular day, and I held it together until someone put in the live about Karmelo Anthony, and I just had to confess to the investors and the viewers, hey, that's why I was so intense with my commentary that day. It was all over the place. And then the sports betting thing, I got frustrated because I'm like, man, now the NFL can hold this against Shedeur Sanders because there's an association with Prize Pick. And, I was going down and down and just down and down. And then behind the background, I was up until 30 minutes before that live, I was like, do I really want to go on live with a young man in self-defense that's basically lost the trial? He was found guilty. And then just to hear that they was going to try to sentence him on the same day, I said, that thing tore me up. I was like, how can I go on live and talk about a quarterback competition when a young man just lost his freedom for simply defending himself? Karmelo Anthony. And so at the end of that live, I held it together and I said, I'll be back. And I'm back. So I'm going to talk about this case here on this live, and the next live, and the next live, and the next live, and the next live, until justice is given to this young man. But hold on, investors. I forgot. Let me go to the comments. Was that the comments before I get into this right here? Was that the comments? Yep, that was the comments. Okay, hold on. Let me get all the Cleveland Browns comments out the way. I agree with you, Tony, about Joe Patino. He never intended to come back, right? Because the climate had changed. Come on with it. Right. Pick a boo. Ha! Here we go. Here we go. Make sure there's no other Cleveland Browns. So y'all hold on to your Cleveland Browns. Here's one more. Your Cleveland Browns and the Sorsby comments to after the Karmelo Anthony commentary, because I'm going to go to the chats back and forth, and I don't want to get distracted by the Cleveland Browns comments. So just hold those to after the Karmelo Anthony piece. Haslam would love to have oh gosh, Lord. No. It got to me, Tony. My bad. Yeah. So here we go. If I'd never seen one of the greatest injustices that I followed from when a case happened up until now, this is one of the biggest flaws and the injustice of the United States justice system. Now, some things have come out. Now, here we go. Going back to what I said in the prelude, I never thought this case would even get this far. It was self-defense. What I'm hearing, and I'm going to go into details tonight, because this live is only because I feel like I needed to make this up and get some of the emotions out of my heart before I start talking about this case. This young man was railroaded. Well, Tony Tongues vested up what you talking about. Well, isn't it funny that the parents on both sides have spoke about this case, and that Karmelo's family, his parents has said, oh, then we have been set up. They said that they have seek before they found their lawyer, and this came from the parents, that everybody just said, you need to get a white lawyer, which they did. And I'm not saying that all white lawyers will railroad you as a black defendant. And I'm definitely not saying just because they wear black skin that they will be for you as a defendant. I have seen white lawyers fight hard for they melanated black Americans offended. And I've seen black attorneys just say, take that plea deal when you know that they was innocent, the client was innocent. So that when the parents say, oh, we've been set up, I said, what? When the parents said we felt like we've been set up, they said we did everything that our counsel told us. They said we did everything by the book. And they said, don't say that. Don't say this. Just let it go. Just say, we got you. And they said that his lawyer only said objection one time in the courtroom and didn't even bring up none of the evidence that showed that Karmelo Anthony acted in self-defense. Y'all, they said, of course, it was anonymous. Then we found out that the judge knew the father, the judge knew the friend of the father, the DA knew the father, the family, and everybody, all these ties. And then I found out, and I definitely don't want to let this go, I found out that the case should not even be held in Collins County. What Tony talks, what you vested out talking about? Well, the incident, Karmelo Anthony's self-defense situation happened in Denton County, not Collin County. And now they're saying that it's been some backhand agreements and deals behind the scenes, because how can you move the case from one county to another county without requesting a change of venue? Now, this is one thing that I said on that live. I said, well, why if if this county is known to be predominantly white and you wanted a fair a trial, why the family didn't ask for a change of venue? We'll come to find out one was done, which the lawyer should have pushed back. They said the lawyer defended the client, this was an injustice by itself. They said just by being the lawyer not being there for his client should be an automatic appeal, throw the case out. They call it improper. Oh Lord, I wrote that down. Improper. Hold on, this is actually a term. Improper legal counsel. Improper legal counsel. And so then I'm hearing, right, that the all-white jury. I said, why would his lawyer even allow that? See, what I didn't tell y'all, that I've been on a jury before. And we've seen in movies that even though a potential juror, right, both counsels, the prosecutor and the defense counsel, have to say yes to that particular juror. If the defense counsel looked at that jury pool, or even looked at the jury pool itself and said, hey, this is not a cross-section of the community. This is not fair. Run another pool, run another jury list. They said every black educator, professional got kicked off, and the defense counsel said nothing. I said, what? The parents even said when they saw the jury of their son's peers, they said, this is not right. But the lawyer said, oh, no. Now you can't look at it by race. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. And now that they know that they have been railroaded. So of course, the venue was changed illegally. Just off that alone, that appeal that has already been submitted. This case should be thrown out, retried, thrown out. You can't change venues without going through the proper request. And that small Texas town, they're going by their own sets of law. But the Texas, I don't know. I know in Georgia we call it the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. If Texas got one of those, it should be bells ringing all over this place. The jurisdiction got changed without the right motions and approvals. Oh, you thought you had power like that. Oh, you thought you had power like that. Oh, you thought, and it was who was the Texas governor? Abbott. They said before this case even got assigned, they said Abbott, Texas governor, had all rights to go down to Judge Roach and say, you got to recuse yourself. They said the conflict of interest was already known, y'all. Karmelo Anthony should be being released. I pray to God in the next 30 days. I don't even want that young man to be in jail for 30 days. No. And then when I heard his parents say, Lord, the tears that came out of my eyes when the parents said that he had a seizure behind the bars and we were just waiting for somebody to call us so we can turn over his medication. The young man's stress level had went up so high, he had a seizure. In Georgia, we have medical prison facilities and we have regular prison facilities. And I pray that young man has been moved temporarily, because I feel like he's going to get out once the appeal process go through and they look at the evidence and the conflict of interest. And y'all, I'm hearing that Judge Roach, who almost said something, is planning on retiring by the end of the year. Oh, this is why he wanted to do a quick sentencing, just to go ahead and put him behind bars before he retires. Now, I want you to be held. It's such a standard that no other jury across this country and judge, especially a judge, you should go down in the history books of what not to do as a judge. I pray, let me watch my words. Let me watch my words. Let me watch my words. Let me breathe. After the verdict come down, why are we hearing that his lawyer didn't even show all of the videos? Why his lawyer didn't show Karmelo Anthony first being called to under? It was not a tent. It was a canopy. It's not a tent. It was one of them little pop-up things that don't even have size. I've been to track meets. They're not tents, they're canopies. Somebody called him over and him sitting there. How many people have the Freedom of Information Act, people have already done this and been approved, and to see all of the evidence and saying why this video wasn't provided to the jury. But hell, I think the jury had already made their verdict in their heart, and it didn't matter if they showed the videos or not. They was going to charge this young man with that M word. They said even the Judge Roach, made a hat. I'm going to give him a little bit of grace and said, God dang, I know I'm railroading this young man. I know I don't supposed to be up here being the honorable judge over this trial. I'm going to put manslaughter on the table. They said, the jury said, nah, we're going to go ahead and stay with first degree. I heard that first degree was one of the hardest charges to find somebody guilty on because it has to show content. And let me tell y'all, for all of y'all melanated, I expect this from the other community, right, who hates black folks. And I'm going to jump on the father next. For all of you black podcasters that's out there talking about a knife and this and that, and he got what he deserved, I said, the devil is a lie. He didn't have a knife. He had a Gerber. He had a Gerber on him, y'all. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, there is a tool that mostly every military person carries in their BDUs, and everybody that's walking around, especially if you think there's a hunter, if you think they're just a mechanic, if you think they're just anybody working outside, it's called a Gerber. I even keep one in my purse. It has a screwdriver. It has a fingernail file. It has a knife. It has, that's my point. This knife, y'all, it was a 2-inch knife that comes in the Gerber. So it's not even a knife. It's like this, y'all. Matter of fact, this is the same tool that I think they allow on planes. I need to look that up for tonight. It was the knife that come in the Gerber. Matter of fact, I think on planes, anything over 3 inches you cannot carry. This was a Gerber knife. So black podcasters, make sure you say the right thing. This was a Gerber knife, 2 inches. I can take this on a plane, 2 inches. I can take this on a 2 inches. It's a Gerber. It's a Gerber. It's not a knife. And to the father, because I heard your commentary too, and we're going to go over this tonight too. I heard your commentary. For you to be a military veteran, Army too. Let me tell you one thing. Based off them comments that you said, I hope the VA is looking at you. And I hope whatever you just said in your commentary, because I heard from the way that you was acting, you was under the influence. And what you just said, how can I say it? The next jury that will be pulled and selected for the second trial, you just did damage to the representation to your son and gave them ammo on the mindset that your son had. Because the way that you was carrying on, you are definitely, y'all catch this word, evasive. Just put it with an R. Watermelon felon? Watermelon felon. See, let me tell you one thing. If you were still active duty, and if you would have had that rent, and you was part of a brigade or a unit, just based off that alone, there would be an investigation on you right now by the Inspector General. They will be already having you on the red carpet, getting your ass out the military with that racist rhetoric. They already would be going ahead and doing paperwork for a dishonorable discharge. And I hope somebody from the VA has listened to this. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because the VA, especially if you're getting a disability, right? A disability rating or check, they can say that your conduct and your actions, even after the getting out of the military, can come back and haunt you. They can pull back your disability. And I don't even know what his dad's name is, but you just did. Well, how can I say this? Nah. First of all, you just did the memory of your son. And we already know, they said on his social media, he had some very questionable images and saying and caption. But you just did a injustice to your son's memory. Hell, I don't like bullies, so to be honest with you, it don't matter to me. But just to know that your son and some of his friends, they walked up to Karmelo Anthony. This was in the videos, y'all. Karmelo Anthony is sitting on the bleachers, and his 6 boys is walking towards him, and 2 go to distract the coach, while 4 approaches Karmelo approaches Karmelo Anthony on the bleachers, y'all. This is some of the videos. This is what we're hearing. For those that requested a Freedom of Information Act regarding all of the evidence in the case, they said plain and clear. This was even played in jury, y'all. The defense lawyer didn't even request this to be played in front of the juries. There's 4 young men that walk up to Karmelo Anthony, and within 30 seconds, there is a scuffle and a brawl. Y'all, they attacked him. They sought him out as a target, and they planned to jump that young man. They jumped him, y'all. They jumped him. Everybody is saying they jumped him. Karmelo Anthony was 135 pounds. Austin Metcalf was 200 pounds plus. 230 pounds plus. Do y'all see how small Karmelo Anthony is? Austin was over 6 feet tall and 235 pounds. Boxing, the world of boxing, does not even allow players outside, boxers outside of the weight category to fight. 135 versus 235. Just by that alone is illegal. Basically, from a physical standpoint, Anthony, and I don't know what's going on with the foods or whatever, and I brought this up before. It's like the black young men have gotten smaller, while the white community young men has gotten bigger and broader. I don't know what that is. I definitely need to look into this. But with Anthony being 135 pounds and Austin being 135, that alone should have been self-defense. They wasn't even the same height. They was outside of each other's weight category. I am not even a lawyer, and I would have brought up the physical differences. They was outside of each other's weight category. And you saying that's not self-defense? Are you saying that's not self-defense? But that's okay. We gonna be patient. All the information that's coming out regarding this case, Anthony, I'm praying that this young man is home by the weekend. I pray that Anthony is home by the weekend. He has a right to defend himself. He has a right to self-defense. I don't care what the history of this country is. There should be equal justice for all. And guess what? We're not going to sit back. We're not going to say, well, you know how it always happened. It protects others and crucifies others. No, we're going to, no. So you're saying that we don't have a right to defend ourselves when our life is in jeopardy? And if we take somebody else's life, we going to get the M word? When if these roles were reversed, can you picture Karmelo Anthony being 135 pounds, and Austin Metcalf being black, covered in melanin, muscles revved up, a linebacker approaching somebody 135 pounds, approaching a white Austin Metcalf. You know what I'm saying? Switch him. Can you picture that means that if Austin Metcalf had the physique of a Karmelo Anthony, it wouldn't even be no trial, because they would have saw this big black male, aggressive, shouldn't have been at school, had just got expelled the week before. You bullying this little white kid. Basically, that's what happened. Karmelo Anthony, in that scenario and analogy, was that smaller white kid that got bullied by a big brute white. Y'all, if the demographic was different, this case never would even went to trial. 100 pounds different, and you got 4 people coming up on me. I'm going to defend myself too. And 2, let me tell you one thing. Before all these details came out, I had an issue with Karmelo Anthony not getting on the stage, especially if I got an all-white jury. Whoa. And I got a white lawyer. No. And I already saw that my lawyer only had 1 objection in trial. Oh, no. I would have said, I want to get on the stand. I got to tell my side of the story, especially if I see that none of the evidence that is going to be in my favor or that's in my favor is not being played. And I'm hearing that one of my best friends that I thought was a friend said, you don't even know me. They said one of Anthony's friends flipped the script and said, I don't even know him like that. God dang. When I said watch your associations, I mean watch your associations. Watch your associations, because in the court of law, do you know if they're going to flip on you? Karmelo, the same friend that called Karmelo Anthony to the tent, said, I don't even know him. You better watch your association. You better watch your associations. But we're going to come back tonight. I'm going to come to the comments, and we're going to come back tonight. We're going to come back tonight. We're going to come back tonight, y'all. We just warming up the room. If you feel like your child has some issues, a known child may have some issues, get help for them. Yes, this was a horrible situation that could have probably been right intervention. And where were the adults? Where were the coaches? But hey, we already know where one coach was. He's been distracted by 2 other students. Oh, my. What's that IMO? I can't remember it. Praying for Karmelo Anthony and his family. He has immediate grounds for a new trial based on racism and right, Destin. Because the system not only not going to care about your kids, there are consequences to all actions. Let me tell you one thing. Even my kids, I tell them now, I don't care what the outcome of this trial is. Defend yourself. And you mean to tell me that other communities are not telling their kids to defend yourself despite this outcome? Defend yourself. That kid never stood a chance. Just right, peekaboo. Right, peekaboo. I truly hope they appeal the decision. Oh, trust me, it's already been submitted. And all I'm looking for is a GoFundMe so I can donate to his legal. Let me tell you one thing. If they're screaming for, and this was one of the other big injustices about fair trial, right? And of your peers, do you think that what's his name, Chud the Builder, if that's his name, that shot that black guy up in wherever they was, do you think that his defense attorney would allow an all-black jury against Chug the Builder. That says it all. That says it all. People gonna say, hell no. Listen, even if Chug the Builder supporters, they saw a black jury, oh my gosh. Oh, they would be protesting. He needs a fair trial. Oh no, man, listen. His legal attorney wouldn't even let an all-black jury be to be the jury for Chug the Builder. And you know who I'm talking about. As Farrakhan once said, if anyone puts their hand on you, you make sure they never put. Amen, Justine. They also made sure they picked a jury that was all white, and also in the wrong jury. Come on, listen. Listen. Let me tell you one thing. This thing was so rigged. It's like the Shedeur Sanders slide. They put so many factors in place and so many challenges up that any appellate court in Texas is going to look at one or two factors and say, oh no, throw it out. This is so egregious, just like the Shedeur Sanders slide, even though we're talking about life and death versus an NFL draft. I get that, but I'm just saying everything that they did in order to bring this verdict up against Karmelo Anthony has actually given his case strength to be appealed and thrown out in the future. Y'all watch how God works this thing out. Y'all watch. Yes, I've seen a lot of that, Tony. That the lawyer didn't even fight for Karmelo. And listen, the family, whoever you going to hire next, white or black, make sure you vet them. Make sure you look at their winning records in terms of, hey, if it's a white lawyer, how many black defendants have you assisted for, and what is the outcome of those trials? How many wins and how many losses? Wins and losses. Also, if you get a black lawyer, hey, how many defendants, how many clients have you defended what was black? And let me see your winning record in those cases. Especially. I'm gonna leave that part alone. But you know what? I'm hoping that the family, I hope they go out and get a black female lawyer. I hope they go out and get a black female lawyer, because it's nothing against male lawyer, but it's certain ways that we can look at any circumstance. And matter of fact, if you just go out and get a lawyer that's gonna do their job, male or female, this case right here never go to trial, and he'll definitely be home for the rest of his life. Appeal, and they get the whole damn thing thrown out. Because this was a clear case of self-defense. But a black woman would tear this up. You mean to tell me the judge is white, the lawyers is white, you in a mostly white town, and all the jury is white? Really? If I was the parents, no, I hear what you said, lawyer. No. Matter of fact, no. I'm sorry. Oh no. And my child got no. Hold on, break. And I gotta pay you? No. So I'm gonna say this to the family and the new lawyer. Please, when they run that roster for potential jurors, make sure you get a list of demographics. No. And also, if you're watching this, investors and viewers, believe it or not, what Colin did, they went and they polled. From what I'm getting, they polled all of the voter registration lists. They didn't even go to the DMV. Matter of fact, because if it was in Denton, I think Denton was more of a multi diverse community. So that's why they moved to Collin County, is because they knew they was quote unquote conservative. You know? Hold on, I'm gonna play that clip for you. Hold on, and we gonna play that tonight too. But listen, voter registration That's how they say they identified they potential jury pool voters and registration. Yeah. The lawyer made a statement out of his own mouth saying that he was not willing to lose the Oh my God. I hope by Tuesday, Karmelo Anthony is walking out of that jail, because you can accelerate an appeal process. You definitely can accelerate an appeal process based off all the injunctions and the factors coming out now. Oh my gosh, why haven't the family put out a GoFundMe link? And I also heard that now that this case is over, the $1 million that they did getting donations has to be released now, because a verdict, win or lose, they have to release that money. Please go out. Trust me. His departure or release from jail on an appeal can get accelerated. I know what I'm talking about. Catch the hint. It can't get accelerated. The people are blatant racist. This is plastered all over social media. Right. The family of the deceased also requests to shut GoFundMe. But guess what? It's over now. But isn't it funny that his fathers had a GoFundMe that raised, as of today, over $600,000, and he has access to that money. But baby, oh my, he was not careful not to say for him because of him. I hope I read that right. He was careful not to say for him because of him. Question: why do they suppress the videotape? Right, because the lawyers, because the Karmelo's defense lawyers didn't eject it. Let me tell you one thing. Even lawyers, his lawyer could have said, no, this evidence is in the defense of my client. It's just going to prove the case of self-defense. His lawyer didn't even do that on purpose. That's why. But oh Lord, I'm praying for Dr. Kent. Yes, I heard of her name too. And her team get to the parents. Yes, I heard of her name. Right, like a Swiss Army. Yes, Pickaboo, you too. Yes. When did the right, Justine? It never. I guess as a black person, we supposed to stand by and just let whatever happen to us. So worst case scenario, let's just say that Karmelo Anthony allowed them 4 big boys jump on him and brutally beat him with their hand. I mean, just tore him apart in the stand because he was afraid of fighting back and defending himself. Y'all, do y'all know that there's some people in our community and his community would have been said, well, he wouldn't have got beat up like that if he would have just defended himself. Y'all, they still would have twisted this thing on Karmelo Anthony because he didn't defend himself and got beat up like this. And they would have said, oh, Austin had every right to defend his territory. What? Why nobody bringing up that he never even supposed to be on any school location or any school event because he was expelled because of his behavior and he was a bully? It's even coming out that he was bullying males and females. He was bullying even girls. Y'all, the details are still coming out. This thing is atrocious after the fact. No wonder it was so many gag orders, right? Injustice. The Supreme Court should not even be activated a request. The Supreme Court should already be saying, based off what we've learned about this, we're going to uphold the Constitution. We're going to uphold the Bill of Rights for every American. Because guess what? To all of the haters and the doubters in the room, Karmelo Anthony is a U.S. citizen. Those legal rights apply to him just like they apply to Austin Metcalf, Ricky Chow, I heard of your name, and everybody else that ever had to be the plaintiff or defendant in any court trial. Y'all, I told you I ain't no lawyer, but you get what I'm saying. Karmelo Anthony is an American citizen, just like Austin Madcap was. He has legal rights too. He got railroaded. His lawyer should be barred immediately. On the same day that Karmelo Anthony is walking appeal next week, and I'm gonna put next week, his lawyer should be on an investigation and subject to being barred from practicing legal. Oh God. Litigation. He should be barred from litigation. Anything. And also the DA, you should be disbarred also. Somebody should be investigating you at a higher court. You need to be investigated and pull your law license also. Get them, y'all. Get them. What you saying? When you are not when you're not a certain melanin, it's not called self-defense. It's called double standards. You're right. Yes, Tony, that is right. A Gerbil tool. Yes. It is not the right. And I heard that he didn't even get a chance to open it. Austin failed on him. That means Austin was charging down. Really, that means that, believe it or not, Austin did it to himself. Austin failed on it himself. Can you imagine if Austin grabbed him and was going to punch downward, and the body weight he was bringing, hey, Austin did it to himself. You're right. As it is not all the way open when his son fell on it, and that's probably why they're not showing the videotapes. From what I understand, the young man asked him to leave him alone. Yes. And they said, do not put your hands on me. Put your hands on me. Find out what happened. They said the scuffle happened within 30 seconds. To show their favoritism, a young male man crossed state lines and shot and someone, and they were being, I got to get off the screen. They were being confronted, and he's not guilty by self-defense. Come on with it. To show their favoritism, a young man on the other community crossed state lines and shot and killed someone, and they weren't being confrontational, and he was not guilty by self-defense. Y'all, Texas is on fire. They did attack Karmelo, and afterwards they tried to alter his injuries. I heard that too. They said that the first mug shot of Karmelo Anthony, they covered up, they did filters. He had, they said it was something his eye, he had bruises on his chest, his shoulders and arms. They attacked that young man. They jumped that young man. A gang of thugs jumped on that young man. Yeah, a gang of thugs jumped on that young man and was beating him, and he pulled out that weapon to defend himself. Hey, Austin failed on it. Karmelo defended himself, and they called it yes, Destin. Anthony deserved better by default. You could see the remorse and sorrow in this young man's face after the verdict. Yes, no defense. So you mean to tell me, as being a model citizen, doing everything right, a high GPA, you are all state, all pro athlete, track, football, you do everything right. No prior convictions, no, your school record is blemished, and in a self-defense case, I get 35 years, but I never done nothing wrong. He didn't even get first defense for nothing. That's how the jury, even everybody that was on that jury, their names should be eliminated from all potential jury who's in the future. Never again will you be on anybody's jury. What? Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about this. I got a graduation to go to. We're gonna talk about this. Okay, climbing off. Nah, we gonna stay on the soapboxes. We gonna stay here. You know why we gonna stay here? Because when we walk away from situations like this, that's why somebody else in Idaho, that's why somebody in California, that's why someone in Georgia, that's why somebody in North Carolina, that's why somebody all the way in Michigan, they gonna feel like they can do this again because we got off our soapbox. Nah, we ain't going nowhere. We're not going nowhere. This is why they think that they can do what they do, because when we apply pressure, we need to continue to apply pressure. It's pressure to the United States justice system, because it's supposed to be fair for all. We will not get off our soapboxes. We will stay the course. Because who knows, next month it could be me, next month it could be you, next month it could be somebody in your family. No, justice for all. Justice for all. No. The Constitution does not say no. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the amendments does not say this is only applicable to the white community. The Bill of Rights and the Constitution and the amendments does not say this is exclude Black Americans. It does not say that. It does not say that. As a military veteran, I didn't fight for this. No. I fight for equal justice. No. And guess what? All we got to do is push back and apply that pressure. Apply that pressure. We're not standing for this. We're not standing for this. No. Stay on your soapbox. Stay on your soapbox. No. Lord, short story. Son got caught in the situation, listened to a close friend, and went with the Black lawyer, played up front, encouraged pre-bargain, hired white. Hey, that's what I'm saying. It don't matter if the lawyer is white or Black, do your vetting, because as you can see, your son, if they said Karmelo Anthony can ask for what they call an early release after 17 years. That means Karmelo Anthony, what's that, 34, 35 years old? No. Let's fight. Parents, please put a GoFund. And if y'all investors, if y'all go out and find a GoFund, please come back under this video and post the link, because I definitely want to donate. I'm definitely going to donate to his legal situation. Nah. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if the lawyer is white or Black. Do your vetting and ask for they winning records. And how many plaintiffs, how many clients have you defended that was Black with these potential charges? This morning, one of the country creators station was asking the public to pray for Karmelo and the family, and that he asked for a public court appointed because from what I heard, well, they need to put a link up, and from what I heard, they're going to get that $1 million that was donated. And let's just say GoFundMe, how can I say, refund everybody that donated to the family. Hey, listen, there's ways to get this money to you, family. The Anthony family, there is ways to get this money to you. Just let us know. The same people that donated that $1 million will donate again, and you're gonna have new donors. Nah, we're not sitting back. No, because if Chug the Builder can get $1 million in 24 hours, I know we can raise this money for this family. I know we can. In another 24 hours. The fix was in for the beginning. Yes, CJ. Representation, no matter right. Do your history. What happened to Stan? Come on with it. Hey, listen. This bringing back up Trayvon Martin. This is bringing up, I mean, Breonna Taylor was just laying in her bed, Lord. And she's not even here again. No. It applies to us. We can stand our ground. And listen, I I've heard of some cases, especially in Florida, where there was a white man that approached a car of young black men. I forgot what that case was. And because to turn down their music, and because they went and turned down their music, and I guess they went back and forth, this guy pulled out, pop, 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 and walked away not guilty because he felt threatened when you walked up on them. What are we doing? But you know why? They did it because they thought they could get away with it. No. Tony, the same creator, content creator that owed the public to get a PayPal, a Cash App account because they were trying to shut down. Right. And they took the money back. Well, listen, the Anthony family, please open up something that we can support you and Karmelo Anthony. In my opinion, all I did hear about this GoFundMe being shut down, they stand together. Just listen. There's ways we can get that money to them. It's helping out the family, but he pulled back because, listen, let me tell you one thing. That's why I didn't even bring him up, because I'm hearing the first time I heard about it, he was going to donate $75,000. And then I guess he said something about the father after the father's rant online. We're talking about a calf, male calf father. And then Charleston White came back and apologized to the father. What? Charleston White? I don't know what the hell going on with that, bro. I don't know what. Excuse my French. I don't know what the hell is going on with Charleston White, but I can't even take him serious on any part now. What is wrong with him? Now, what if the roles were reversed? That was the name of the movie I was trying to pull up. Everybody must think. Listen, there was a part of the movie where I think it was the NCAACP had went to Samuel L. Jackson and asked him, "Why did you hire this white man?" It was Matthew McConaughey to be the lawyer. He said, because he's one of them. He thinks like them. Y'all, I was just thinking about that movie on the plane. That movie fooled a lot of people. That was a movie. Don't hire them just because they're white and the jury is white. That was a movie, y'all. That was a movie. Samuel L. Jackson, a matter of fact, I posted, oh Lord, movies. Y'all know this movie too. This movie was so good, but that was just a movie. Oh gosh, what was the name of that movie then? What was that movie right there? Samuel L. Jackson had so many good movies. I know when I see it. But he was being tried because there were two white men that took his daughter and they had fun with her back in the 1940s and 1940s or 30s. They took his 9-year-old daughter that was walking down the highway, and it was two white men in a pickup truck and spotted the little girl walking down the highway. They decided they had all right to take her and do things. And after they did things, they threw her over. I think first of all, they did what they did, and then they threw into a river and drowned. But I think they found the little girl. And I think they found them not guilty. Samuel L. Jackson took it upon himself to give them, how can I say it? You know exactly what I'm saying. You've seen that movie before, but whatever that movie was, I'm finding out. I can't remember that movie, and it's not popping up right now out of his old 1,000 movies. But you know exactly what movie I'm talking about, y'all. That was a movie. Don't just hire. A Time to Kill with Sandra Bullock and Matthew McConaughey. A Time to Kill. The only way he could play football is because he had medically approved his. Gotcha. We should have been on that jury. Yes, we should have. There's also disbursement going on to the lawyers need to be included. Yes, there's a lot of disbursement going on. These lawyers need to be included. They need to give all their money back to the family. It pissed me off that they removed the 3 black teachers right from the jury. And yes, and see, somebody had said this. This was actually the lawyer. Believe it or not, I don't even want to give him his name attention. But actually, this was the black lawyer that got Ricky Chow off. Listen, you may have won that case, but you have lost the community, and all money is not good money. But this was the black lawyer. To me, he kind of looked at shiesty, but he knew, from what I gathered, he knew his stuff. But even he said that mistake there that the DA made, that's an automatic appeal. Get that thrown out. So how can you leave the white educator in the jury, but deny the 3 black teachers in the? How can you disapprove them from being part of the jury? Man, they said this is an easy appeal that Texas should anybody should have to approve this appeal because of the injustice and the inconsistencies, and they said this is gross. I agree. We don't acknowledge what's going on. It will become the new norm to treat people of color the way and get away with it if we don't stop this right here, y'all. If we don't stop this right here. This is the importance of voting, y'all, especially locally. Yes, locally. Listen, you don't have to vote for the president. You don't have to vote for the president because we already know that the popular vote don't put the president in anyway. It's the electoral college. And we know that there's been 5 times in history where the popular vote has voted one way and the electoral college went the other way. We know this. Well, I hope you know this now. But the most important voting and ballot that any person can address is at the local level and the state level. I said state is because it was Abbott, the governor of Texas, that should have went down to Collins County and said, what in the hell are you doing down there? First of all, you shouldn't have moved the case out of Denton County. And then, judge, you are being forced to recuse yourself from this case here. So I understand the at the top, the political left and right and left, the donkey versus the elephant. If you know what I'm talking about. You don't even have to vote on that. You can leave that blank if you want to. But locally and state levels, this is why registering to vote is so critical. So critical. And you can even be registered to vote, get pulled on the jury pool, but because you black, nope. Because they think you're gonna be impartial. Well, what about the white folks? Are they impartial too? Because the crime was committed against one of theirs? Man, come on with it. The law. This is not the law. This is right. I just watched a reel of people waiting in line for a food truck. So if y'all can wait in line, right? Just saying. I must have missed something, Peekaboo. Dr. Candace Matthews and her team is going to assist the family. Right. So let me tell you one thing. Dr. Candace Matthews, please. Just, hey, you set up a legal form or something so we can send the money directly to you since they don't want the Anthony family to get it. Hey, I need to find her social media so I can say, hey, you set up something so we can send the money directly to your firm for the family. Come on now. Come on with it. It's called crowdfunding. We will assist. Come on with it. Hey, how you doing, Charmaine? Woo! Based on a John Grisham book. Charleston White is sick in the damn head. He was awful the way that he talked. Right. What? I'm like, this is crazy. I'm in a lot of disbarge going. Oh, right. Yeah. They definitely need to be disbarged. I agree with you, Tony, on the attorney, and he knows. Yes, you know who I'm talking about. But he pissed me off when I found out he defended Ricky Child. That's what I'm saying. All money ain't good money, and you may have won that case, but you have lost the community. Oh no. But even he gave out, y'all. Let me go ahead. Even he gave out some very. I bring that tonight because I need to go take a shower and get changed, and I got a graduation to go to. But And I'll see y'all tonight, Vestas. Let me see. Is that all the comments? Is that all the comments? That's all the comments. So Shemaine and all the new Vestas that's probably coming into the room, please go back and watch this video. Wow, it's been 2 hours. We've been on this, y'all. We've been on this. Hold on, what you say? A sad situation. In my opinion, parents have to install positive affirmations in their kid to promote humility and respect, and how not to give into peer pressures. Kids are not born right. And that's all of Austin Madcap's friends, including Madcap himself. Because the way that his father ran it after that verdict and called him the watermelon felon. Oh, and from what we heard that was on Austin's social media the day of the track meet, now we know where he got it from. His father. And for all the haters in the room, if you haven't listened, I'm sorry, it was despicable what his father was saying. And the way that his father was going off on Karmelo Anthony's father, who are you to talk, sir? Who are you to talk about his father? Are you grieving for your son? Or are you just using this as an avenue to spew your hate and your racism? I said the latter. I said, because this been happened over 1.5 years or 2 years ago. Boy. And Charleston White, somebody must have rang his bell, because he definitely had a different attitude, I'm going to say, one day after the verdict came out. And now from what I'm seeing from Charleston White, and 2 to 3 days later, has definitely changed his stance. I know you praying, Lady E. I know you praying. I hate to say this, but God rides on the wrong. Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm glad I reread that. I hate to say this, but government rides on the wrong side. You know why? Because they think that we're not going to stand on this. They think that we can. They think that we gonna next week be on the next topic. No. Next week we're not gonna be on the next topic. See, this is why the government always stands on the wrong side, because they think, y'all, that we have short-term memory. And I'm gonna say, in the past we may have, but now this is a time to draw the line in the sand and say we're not gonna allow and continue to let you put injustices on us, even especially when we're defending ourselves from an attack. Now, y'all already know I'm in the military. I'm looking how can donate to the family and get this, like, now. Yes, Charleston White is not real. Right, I got you. You're totally right. You're totally right. When I heard him say that out of his mouth, right, but his character of Charleston White should stay low in certain times. It's like this. We don't need your persona or your character speaking out and doing like that in times like this. So just like Beyonce comes on stage, Jay-Z and Usher and Chris Brown, they tour at a certain time. This is not the time for we need Charleston White to be out here. This is not that time. Cam Newton, he said that on Cam Newton. He said, right. But listen, we don't need Charleston White persona at this time. He can keep that. Look up his history. I saw that, but we don't need him. We don't need him today on that. Yes, it was not only his father but mother. Oh really? I hadn't even got through the whole. I need to go over his commentary. I've been seeing clips and pieces of it. Okay, social media is a beast. Okay, all right, Vestas. I gotta go get changed. It was nice talking with you, and I'll be back tonight. If it's not at 5:45, it'll be 7:45. If it's not 7:45, it'll be 9:45. But I'm coming back tonight. Okay, I'm coming back tonight. There's a few things I just got to get on my schedule, but I'm coming back tonight. Okay. If not, worst case scenario, I'll be back tomorrow at 3:45. But I'll let y'all know. Correct, Tony. You're right. I don't want to laugh right now, Peekaboo. But I'll be back. Okay. So thank you all for your time and attention on this beautiful Saturday morning. Injustice for Karmelo Anthony. This whole thing should be turned over. So justice for Karmelo Anthony, because he definitely has encountered an injustice in this case right here. And yes, it's a family member. Thank you, Justine. All right, Vessels, I see you soon. Okay, I'll talk.